Well, good morning, men. Yep, I'm outside of my backyard, just enjoying the peace and quiet of the Lord's presence. Just some beautiful worship music and just allowing my heart and my mind to be refreshed before the day begins. I'm an early morning person, you all know that. And that just prepares my heart for the day and whatever comes. And I kind of want to link that into something we're all familiar with, Ephesians chapter 6. It's certainly the one that we quote often as we look at the armor of God. But before that begins, I want to just remind you, because I'm sure we all remember it, but chapter 16, verse 11, put on the whole armor of God, that you might be able to stand against the schemes of the enemy. You know, it's funny, to get all dressed up, as they used to say, get all dressed up and no place to go, doesn't make sense. I think we're being warned, really, by Paul, that the schemes of the enemy are something that are unique. Quite honestly, they're personal, and many times they're intimate. He knows the places to pull us. He knows the places that we've conquered, so he just moves on. But he's got those other places, and sometimes those are part of our history. We've been raised that way culturally or personally, with love, with anger, whatever it may be. So I want to encourage you, especially over these next few days. Father's Day is coming up tomorrow. It's easy to allow the enemy to stir up those negative things. But I think back on just a beautiful passage of Scripture, as well as a wonderful song. The goodness of God is running after me. You know, the goodness of God is something that fights the schemes of the enemy. We put on the armor and we fight, but to realize the real victory is realizing that no matter how bad everything is, and believe me, I've been around long enough, there's some really bad stuff happening in people's lives, and I've had those moments in my life. But the goodness of God is what's pressing in, and never lose sight of that. When your mind starts drifting, put on that armor and say, "No, I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna walk. I'm going to live in the goodness of God, the goodness of God, and not be drifting off to what is or what isn't, because that's who God is. He is good. He is faithful. He is the one that wants to step into our lives, and sometimes we kind of have to step out of the way. Step out of the way. So many of you, as you come into this Father's Day and perhaps reflect on it this week, some pictures, some good, some bad, some who knows, come back to that place and say, no, I'm not going to let the scheme of the enemy. You know, the scheme of the enemy, it just kind of arrives on your door, sort of like your the Amazon Prime and UPS and everything just arrives on your door. You can choose to open it, or you can choose to say, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm sending it back to where it came from, as we often say, to the pit of hell. So don't let the schemes of the enemy redirect the goodness of God that he wants to pour into your heart, into your life. Just stop. Stop even now at the end of this and say, God, I want to receive your goodness into my life, that I might pour it out through my life into others as well. Well, man, it's good to talk with you again. Can't wait to see you. Perhaps, not sure when you're going to hear this, but this Sunday we're all getting together for our open air service, and I know I'll be able to connect with many of you there. All right, so here we go again. Remember, at the end of this, push share. Set it out on your social media, perhaps send it to a particular person, but always share the blessings of the Lord with others. The goodness of the Lord is coming after you. What a great way to live our lives in the Lord. Bless you.